I'm Ilene Wood, and this is Bag Lunch. Today we're going to speak about one of my very favorite designers. Her name was Neddy Rosenstein, and she was born in 1890 in Austria. She came to America, met and married her husband, who was in the underwear manufacturing business, and she opened up a small dressmaker shop in 1913. Her dresses were so gorgeous that the department stores heard about what she was producing, and stores all over the country flocked to her little dressmaker shop to see if she would sell her garments to them. Now, she and her husband were pretty fashion savvy, and they realized that if they only sold to one store in each market, they would be able to control their output and their pricing. So they only sold to one store in every major city, and her clothing was so highly sought after that back in the 1920s, one of her dresses would sell for typically $500, which was an awful lot of money back then. Now, Nettie is remarkable because she was the precursor to the current designer name, designer label, whole extravaganza. And by that I mean Neddy Rosenstein was the very first person to have her name on a garment label. Up until that time, it would either be the company name or the name of the store. But women came into the stores in such numbers to seek out Neddy Rosenstein designs that the stores permitted her to create a label with her name rather than the stores. Now, Neddy, once again, was a precursor to designer marketing as we know it today. I've been talking a lot about dresses, but from dresses, she rolled into handbags and belts and accessories and jewelry, and she became a behemoth, kind of like a Ralph Lauren might be considered today. But this humble woman, born in Austria, never really got the credit that I think she's due, because I truly view her as the mother of the designer label industry. Now, let's look at some of her handbag designs. These came about later in her career. These came about in the 1940s, and they continued right through 1975 when the company was shuttered. This is one of my favorite handbags. And one of the special details is the beautiful gold shield on the front. And she had these made at the same company where they were manufacturing her jewelry. And she often released jewelry to go with her handbags. So here you have a pair of bracelets and a pendant brooch. And these both have the same shield upon them, or versions of. And this was also a very advanced for its time handbag, because it could convert from a shoulder to an over-the-arm bag. And that was not something frequently done at the time. This is a bag that probably dates to the 50s. Here's another example of a Neddy bag with a symbol on the front. This one has enamel and a small bird. And once again, the same design was used on a necklace pendant. This is an evening bag design. Once again, notice the French Rococo metalwork that looked like French furniture you would find at the time. This too is a bag that dates to the 50s. Here's another larger, similar version to the one you just saw. This is a black satin evening bag that has a top handle, and on the front is a little piece of jewelry, a jewelry fitting that has a painted cameo. This is a very pretty gold lizard evening bag, and it's got a truly unusual shape. This is a fabric evening bag that has hand beading and embroidery all over it, and it's done to replicate the look of the workmanship from India. So it has typical Indian motifs like paisleys, and it's all done in glass beads and gold bullion embroidery. The final bag is really special. This is a bag that is entirely hand beaded on satin, including the handle. And it's a very interesting prophetic kind of shape in that it reads almost like camouflage, but it could either be viewed as camouflage or as some sort of animal print. But it's a beautiful evening bag that would pop against any black outfit. And it could also be worn, obviously, with brown. So Neddy Rosenstein was a woman ahead of her time, a very talented designer who designed things for first ladies and celebrities. At one point back in the 1950s, she was considered the top American designer in the world. And sadly, today, unless you're a fashion insider, few people know about her. So please do a Google search, read up on her. I think she's a remarkable woman, and I think she never got her due. Thank you very much for joining us today at Bag Lunch.